Hello and welcome again to the Friday Wrap for November 7th. I'm actually filming today from Village Hall from my office. Welcome to my spacious village office. You'll notice from the left to right, I have a couple of my favorites here. A picture of Abraham Lincoln, a picture that I purchased in Gettysburg, a statue of the Statue of Liberty that's very near and dear to my heart, not just because I'm from the East Coast, but of course what it symbolizes. And then further off to the right is a map of Burr Ridge, which I intentionally had put on the wall so when I'm meeting with the residents here, we can reference various sections of the village, whether it be for zoning or different events. Yeah, it was kind of a crazy week this week. I ended up, but it was a very good week. On Friday night, I ended up having, my wife and I took a very dear friends of ours, John and Gail Seraphin, to dinner. They are actually retiring and bought some property in Tennessee. We wanted to make sure we took them to dinner one last time before they went south. But it was kind of one of those things. You had mixed feelings. Great to have dinner. Sorry to see them go. But John will still be in town for a little while, and he hasn't sold his house yet. Plus, I was able to meet on Saturday with an Illinois State Trooper that I had met. I hadn't seen in a number of years. Met him. I saw him at the ceremony last week. We reconnected. It was great to meet him over at Starbucks as well. Staying with Starbucks on Sunday. Catherine, you might recognize her from the picture. She's been here for a number of years. Very, very popular barista from Starbucks. That was her last day. We'll miss her dearly and try to visit her at the Lyons location where she moved to. On Sunday night, I ended up going over to Downers Grove Township Republican Organization for for training as poll watcher for the election on Tuesday. That was also very interesting. I'd never been through that. For your information, the role of poll watcher is really twofold. One is just kind of oversee, make sure everything's done legally and according to the regulations. But more so to be able to check off the names as they go through on voting, so that if there are any phone calls, any phone calls being made to get out the vote, that people won't be called once they're already voted. One resident objected to that, the fact that when we could do that, but that's state law. It would probably take Michael Madigan to change that, or maybe even a federal law. It is state law that the fact that you voted is actually public record, but how you voted, that is what is always kept secret. The election on Tuesday was, I think, one of the best elections in a long time. I know a number of people thought that we never see a Republican governor elected, but it was great to see Bruce Rauner get elected by a pretty healthy margin, and of course to have the Republicans finally have control of the Senate. That was a great day to be an Illinois Republican, but more importantly, a great day to be an Illinois American. That night, I was able to go to Peter Roskim's event out in Wheaton. Just had to get out there because you might know that Congressman Peter Roskim, after the redistricting, this is the first time he had to get his district reaches Burr Ridge. Goes as far northwest as Barrington and even beyond there. But he represents part of Burr Ridge. I wanted to show our support to him, and he gave a great acceptance speech. The place was absolutely packed. He's a very spiritual man, as evidenced by his acceptance speech. In addition, this past week, I was able to go on behalf of Mayor. I was invited to an event out at the Illinois Benedictine University, put on by the DuPage PADS, an organization hoping to eliminate homelessness throughout DuPage County. The guest speaker was actually Jarrett Payton, none other than Walter Payton's son. He gave a great speech, and I had to say, I had a chance to talk to him afterward, and I told him that's one thing I think he does better than his dad did. He doesn't use his thighs; he uses his words, and he really moved the crowd with his stories, not only about his cause, but about his father and other famous sports players around Chicago. Then it was over to I had an idea for the upcoming Veterans Memorial, Veterans Day event that we're going to have here on Tuesday. This is just kind of a semi-last minute, but at least to give people several days to plan for it. At 11 o'clock in the morning on on 11/11. Then later on Wednesday, I had an idea for sponsorship for the Veterans Day event that we're going to have on Tuesday, which I'll go back to. And ended up going over to the County Line Square to have lunch at Great American Bagel for a reason that I'll tell you about in a second. Other great news, we had the bridge update. This picture that you'll see down below is actually when they're preparing the bridge for the final pouring of the concrete. It is on schedule in November to open up still the northbound lanes, but they poured the concrete later that afternoon. Upcoming, we have Global Luxury Imports has their food drive once again on their fourth annual food drive. To be held at Global Luxury Imports just north of Loyola on County Line Road. From 2:30 to 4, they'll be having Blackhawks players there to be signing autographs, as well as to take donations for the Greater Chicago Food Depository. You check that out online if you want. On Monday, we're going to have the village board meeting where we're going to be voting on the tax levy, specifically around the police pension, which I'm sure will be a rather lengthy meeting, but you're welcome to join us for that. And on Tuesday, of course, we have the Veterans Day event. We're going to have kind of a relatively small ceremony at 11 a.m. on 11/11, followed by a complimentary lunch sponsored by Great American Bagel. Seemed only fitting that for Veterans Day, we'd have Great American Bagel be an important part of that day, where we're going to have a chance, of course, to honor our veterans who have served our country. That's all I have for today. I thank you again for joining me, and look forward to seeing you again next week. Again, I hope you have a blessed weekend and a blessed Veterans Day on Tuesday.